And now, you're tuned into RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
What's going on, RBLR Nation? You are tuning into the Rays portion of our podcast. I am your host, Zach Blaine, and here with me, as always, Mr. Ben Whitelaw. How are we doing today, brother?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Good morning.
Good morning, man. How was your week of Rays baseball?
It was pretty good. Lots of good stuff, and then some other stuff, but it's fine mostly.
No days off.
Yeah, we get one tomorrow. But.
Finally, so no days off, and we went, I believe, 500 on the whole week so far. I know we're still in the White Sox series, but so far it's been 500 the whole week, and we can just go ahead and get right into the first series we had. We finished off the Yankees series with 2 wins back to back.
Yeah, they split that series against the Yankees. That's their first time seeing them this season. They came into the Trop, and yeah, it was a pretty okay series. I know the offense has been quiet since Brandon Lau got hurt, but I really like the starters in that series against the Yankees. They threw combined, like between the 4 different starters, 23.1 innings pitched, had a 26.4 strikeout rate, a 1.1 walk rate. They only walked 1 batter the entire series, the starters did. And then they also had a 3.10 FIP. So really great performances from, 4 guys in the rotation where, that was a little bit of a question mark heading into the season because of health, but they've definitely shown out so far in the early couple months here.
Yeah, and to get into those, 2 of those starters, obviously the last 2 on Saturday and Sunday, Kluber went six innings, 5 Ks with 1 earned run, and Clanahan went 6 innings, 1 earned run, and 7 Ks. But he did give up 7 hits in that game on Sunday. Is that something that's kind of different than what we're used to with him?
With McClanahan, wait, he gave up 7 hits?
Yeah.
That's fine as long as he limits the home runs. The hits are going to happen. The bloops, the ground balls that get through the infield. It's fine. I'm not too worried about it. And he's always going to have kind of like higher exit velocities because he throws so hard. But he just gets so many strikeouts that like a couple like bloop singles, I don't care too much about. Yeah,
that's fair. So what's something that you took from, the last 2 games or the series as a whole? What's something that you took? I know you'd mentioned like with Lau out that our offense has been kind of slow. Our bats haven't really been there, but what's something that you took out of it?
They just need to play 500 ball until Lau gets back. Like he really is such a huge piece of the offense. He's a top 10 MVP vote getter every season. He's a really important bat, great base runner too, really underrated there. But as long as they keep playing 500, that's fine with me. Just stay afloat. They've got a pretty big lead in like the wild card race, even though it's early June. But the starting pitching was really like the big story for me in that series because they showed that they can, go up against a pretty strong offense for a 4-game series, which is, one of the longer series they're going to have this season. That it's, pretty similar to the length of a postseason series. So I think the starting pitching can hold up. They just need to continue to do that and then get their bullpen pieces back too, so they can have like, more quality innings later on in games.
Yeah, I agree that the starting pitching to me in that series was very good. Even kind of on the Yankees side, as much as I hate to admit it, I think that in the game on Sunday, Severino is possibly the most unlucky pitcher in the whole world. Like we had 2 hits that whole game, and they just both happened to be home runs, and we still won 4-2. It was a weird game, and for us to get a home run from Walls, if he could get that power up, man, he could be so good.
Yeah, he really could be. And going back to the Yankees starting pitching, like a lot of their starters, like Severino, Nestor Cortez, who's their other guy? Jameson, Tyrone, Garrett Cole. Like Garrett Cole, he's going to pitch like 200 something innings. Like that's just a given with him.
Exactly.
He can handle that workload. But those other 3, like they haven't really had like a couple of them are coming back from injury. Cortez has never really thrown that many innings in a season in his career. Like they're already like close to halfway to their potential innings limits this season. So the Yankees are, yeah, they have good starting pitching now, but they're running them basically into the ground. So I
Yeah.
think that rotation is going to look really, really different come, September, October. But right now they've got good starting pitching. So maybe they're just planning on building like a lead right now in the division and then maybe getting a couple starters later.
As long as
But
they fall
that's,
back to second
yeah,
place, that we're good.
that's just playing with fire. Like I don't really understand their workload management there, but whatever. If they don't care about the postseason, that's fine with me.
I'll take it. That's why we've been better in the postseason than them lately. So I'm okay with it. So yeah, that's all that I had for the Yankees series. Is there anything else that you had before we move over to the Rangers series?
No, it was a relatively like quiet series for like a first place battle type thing. So it's fine though. Both
Exactly.
teams are a little banged up.
All right, so then we get into the Rangers. I can't lie to you. The first two games of the series, I was terrified. I was like, the Rangers should not be this good. What is happening? The first game, the 9-5 loss, where we throw Raz, who is one of our best pitchers, and I texted the chat and was like, something doesn't look quite right with Raz, and I mean, you said that he looked normal, just kind of something like I forget exactly what you said, but to me, in the 3 innings that he pitched, just didn't look right.
Yeah, so I looked at his pitch grade stuff like after the game, and he had his third best stuff of the season, like in terms of his command and his like the break on his pitches. So the Rangers did a decent job at like, driving the ball a couple times with some of the hard hit balls, but really like he had the same exit velocities he always does. He had the same like swing and miss he always does. He just didn't really get lucky. Like the ground balls didn't go right to the defenders. The fly balls didn't go right to the outfielders. So I think we're going to, I mean, that was like a pretty not great performance from him. I don't think we're going to see that kind of performance every
Yeah.
time, but I think it's going to look more like 1, 2, maybe 3 runs he gives up a game with like a couple walks. Like that's going to be like a normal Rasmussen performance. He's just, ebbs and flows of a season, but he just didn't get that lucky that series.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, in
that
that
makes
game.
sense. And then, so another thing I want to bring up about that first game, real quick, their pitcher Otto. I have never heard of him up until we played. He looked phenomenal.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. I know that the pitch grade stuff didn't like him, but the Rays offense was
Yeah,
not great in that series. Like again, they're still missing Lau, so they just got to play 500 ball. But yeah, it's tough seeing a pitcher for the first time because not too many guys have experience against him, so it makes it a little bit tougher. Yeah, it is what it is though.
yeah, and I mean, we saw him for the first time, and as weird as it sounds, like our offense wasn't very good that whole series, but that was probably our best offensive performance of the whole series. It just happened that pitching gave up too many runs, and we didn't get lucky or we didn't get as lucky as we normally do as far as with our pitching.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of just threw whoever, I think it was probably like Garza in for like mop up duty once they were down by like 3 or 4. It was cool to see Matt Moore. It was even cooler to see him give up a bunch of hits and runs and stuff. So whatever. But yeah, it just didn't feel like the Rays were going to win that game no matter what, especially with Rasmussen just kind of coming out and laying an egg like he did.
Exactly. And then the cold bats continued in the next game. I know we're not really doing a game by game, but it was 3 hits total. Yarbs comes in. In my opinion, forget the 3 earned runs. Like one of Yarb's better games that I can say that I watched and enjoyed.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. The fly balls kind of carried a little bit in Texas. Like those
Yeah.
balls really looked like they had a little something extra to them, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but because I know that the roof was closed, I think each night. So like,
Yeah.
and it's temperature controlled in there. I'm pretty sure. Like, so I don't really know. Like, I was thinking, oh, maybe it's just hot in Texas, but no, that's not it. The ball just
They left it cracked
for
a
some
little.
reason, like, yeah, all like the line drives and fly balls. They had some carry to them in that series. But yeah, Ray's offense was cold. Yarbrough looked okay, couple home runs, but that's uncharacteristic from him. He doesn't normally do that, so little unfortunate.
So out of the other games, is there anything that you took that maybe the people that listening haven't or didn't look at the same way you did?
I think Vidal Brujan looked really good in that series overall.
Okay.
He had a 13.3 walk rate, 6.7% strikeout rate, and he had a 100 WRC plus. So we played pretty average offensively, which is great though, considering like he's a rookie and rookies are usually terrible
Yeah.
at baseball. So he played really good defense in multiple positions. He's starting to arrive, and the trends are looking really good for him. So it's nice to have him finally, starting to contribute, play up to his potential a little bit. It'll still take a while before he's like a solid everyday major leaguer, but he's showing like flashes of why he was such a highly regarded prospect.
Now, you brought up Brujan, and it has nothing to do with this series, but I saw that you had a Twitter poll going on about who would we keep as far, like if we had to pick right now, who would we keep, Brujan, Walls, or Paredes? I got to know the results of that.
I think it was Paredes. I know it's like kind of a recency bias thing with that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put too much stock into it, but basically if Wander and Lau both come back like tomorrow, it does kind of look like Paredes might be the one to stick around. Like he can play second and third. I know Brujan has a bit more versatility, but Paredes does have like the walk rates to kind of like sustain some kind of success, even if he's cold at the plate. So it's, for me right now, it's kind of a toss up between Brujan and Paredes. I want to like Walls. It's just, he's been not getting it done lately.
Yeah.
Like he does something like once every like 12 games, and that's not really enough at the major league level.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Who would you keep out of the three if one had to go, or if two had to go?
Yeah, see, I'm keeping Walls, but it's just because I'm more of a fan of him just because we've seen more of him as far as like last season and this season. So I think it's just I'm more used to him, so I like him. But I do think that as far as recency bias goes, you're right. Paredes is probably the most successful so far.
Yeah, and that makes sense to keep Walls. Like he has the experience, he probably has a higher floor than Brujan and Paredes right now.
Yeah.
But he's playing very close to that floor.
Exactly.
He's a defensive substitution probably at best right now. Like, yeah, we just need Wander back soon. And he will be. He'll be fine. And same with Lau, but just got to hurry up and wait. Keep playing 500 ball.
Exactly. As long as we play 500, I'm not upset about it. So sorry to you fans listening for jumping around. I just had to know the answer to that. Getting back into the Ranger series. Something that I took from the Ranger series that is kind of interesting was their pitching was really good. Like the 3 of the 4 games, they had really good pitching, at least 6 innings pitched. And that was only once in the first 3 games. Their second and third pitchers, who were Perez and Gray, both pitched 7 innings. Phenomenal. Gray had 12 Ks on us. Like, it just insane.
Yeah, they both had really good games. I still kind of think Perez is a bit of a fraud. I don't think that success will hold up all season, but he's been good, and constantly and consistently hits the corner with his sinker and changeup almost every single time. Yeah. I just wish he would get like an umpire with a small strike zone just one time just to see what would happen, because I know his head would explode, because he can't throw the ball anywhere else with success. Like, it's only down and away. That's the only place he can have success. So just get one bad umpire and his whole season's going to come undone. But he was still good in that game. John Gray was good too. He's got some velo. So yeah, I like both of those pitchers though a little bit.
Yeah, I do too, and I like Hearn even more for letting us get that 3-1 win. But aside from that, that's all that that whole series just felt boring in like the nicest way possible. The pitching was really good on both sides on the second and third game. So it was just like the whole series felt boring. Even the Thursday win with Kluber coming in throwing 6 innings and only giving up 1 earned run, like it just it felt like old school baseball where we just watched and we're like, oh, let's see what happens. Like just slow and methodical.
Yeah, definitely. And that made me think of Yandy Diaz. Like if he played in like the 1800s, he would fit right in that with his walk rates and just like spraying the ball all over the place. Like in the Ranger series, he had a 21.4 walk rate. Like that's insane. He's just, and honestly, like he's doing the right thing by doing that. Like he's really just shouldering like a lot of the offense, getting on base, making things happen. He went first to third a couple times too, on a couple singles and balls in the gap. So he's not fast, but he's a good enough base runner. But I just really liked him that series. He also had a 213 weighted runs created plus, and he battled like every single pitch. So he's definitely going to earn that off day tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of the guys that I think needs it the most, in all honesty, because he's been on base a lot this week. I'll agree with that 100%. But that's all that I've got from the Rangers series. Any last two raws with that?
No, I'm good. I'm just glad they didn't lose the series.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what? I lied. I do have one more thing from the Rangers series, and it's kind of bragging on the Rangers a little bit. Josh Smith, their third baseman, makes his debut, goes 3 for 4 in the first game. I think that they have something special in that kid.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game. I think he had like another hit or two in some of the other games, but yeah, rookies they either come out really hot or really cold, and then they eventually flip. So he'll, probably be a sub 100 WRC plus guy in no time. But yeah, he had a pretty good debut. He can play a little bit.
He's like, let's talk good on him, but let's not talk too good on him.
I mean, they all do that. He's gonna end up like Wall, Bruhan in a couple weeks. So.
Exactly.
A pretty good debut.
Well, after the Rangers game, we get into this. We've played 2 games so far against the White Sox. We played 2 games because we are recording on Sunday. But on Saturday we come out and play, Friday we come out and play a 6-3 win, man.
Good stuff. The at-bats are starting to look a little bit better. The offense is still very cold, but it's getting better. They've had 12 walks already in this series, and 13 strikeouts, so they're looking good. 5 of those walks do belong to Yandy, though, so it's still him, and he's leading the American League in walk rate. He's got a 17.7 walk rate. That's the best in the American League by a little bit.
That's insane.
And yeah, it's crazy. The ball just isn't falling right now. Like the at-bat quality has gotten a lot better. It's just not finding a ton of grass, unfortunately, but that's okay.
Yeah, and I mean, it's nice to see, aside from walks, Randy's hitting home runs again, and it's just it feels like slowly but surely the bats are starting to heat up, and it's like when Lau gets back in, I can't wait for that. I think that it's going to bring so much life back to this lineup. It's insane.
Yeah, I think it'll kind of do like what Nelson Cruz did to the lineup last year. Like they went from like I think they were at like 105 WRC plus on the season as a team, like before the Cruz trade. And then they finished the year at like 120 WRC plus. So even though he didn't necessarily perform great, he just kind of made everybody else in the lineup better. And he definitely offered protection to like the hitters ahead of him. So once Wander and Lau get back, Wander's going to see more pitches or pitches in the zone because they don't want to face Lau with runners on. So it's just going to make the offense better.
And one thing I will say is even the game that we lost on Saturday, we were winning. We were ahead all the way up to the 8th inning. The 8th inning was the only inning they scored any runs, and it kind of just, I mean, for lack of a better term, kind of just screwed us. Like we had one bad inning on pitching, and it wasn't even really that bad of an inning.
Yeah, it was like a bloop single and then a pinch hit home run on a pretty good like fastball. So, it was just good hitting from the White Sox. That stuff's going to happen sometimes. But overall, the team still looked pretty solid so far this series. And it's getting better than it was in the Rangers series.
Exactly. It looks much better than the Rangers series. So I'm kind of excited to see the rest of it and see what we do because the White Sox record's not that good, but to me, they have a really good, a solid team.
Yeah, they've got a couple good pieces that they might end up departing with at the deadline.
Yeah. So that's all that I had for the White Sox series so far, considering it's not over yet. But did you have anything else on that?
No, I'm just excited to see Yarbrough go out there and continue to perform well, and hopefully the Rays can get some runs early and just cruise to a win today.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Um, so we'll go over real quick then, because we didn't talk about this in the chat at all. Normally we have a little discussion about it, but uh, who do you have as your bat of the week?
So my bat of the week is definitely going to be Yandy. He had a 30% walk rate this week, 13.3% strikeout rate, 967 OPS, 211 WRC plus, and a .5 FWAR in 30 plate appearances. So those were the WAR, the walk rate, WRC plus. Those were all the best on the team this week. So he's definitely my bat of the week.
Yeah, I was having a hard time coming up with the bat of the week based off of like production, but I think that Yandy is probably the best option there with his walk rate and everything.
Yeah, and if Eli White didn't hate Choi so much, I think Choi might be the player of the week. But he took away a couple hits from him. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he
taken
did.
hits away from everybody, but especially against Choi. But yeah, Yandy had the production this week, so I had to go with him.
All right, now this one was more difficult for me, the arm.
Yeah, me too.
I had two starters that I was looking at for arm of the week, and it was either McClanahan or Kluber. And again, I even had JP Fireisen up there this week because he did get a win this week. But I want your arm of the week and who you took.
Yeah, I was deciding between Kluber and McClanahan as well. I just went with Kluber because we haven't given it to him yet.
Yep, I did the same thing.
Okay, cool. He had like a little bit more FWAR, a slightly lower FIP. They both didn't give up any walks this week, but McClanahan did have more strikeouts. So it's really a toss up. I'm fine with either one, but it's cool that Kluber has a chance to get it. So that's why I just gave it to him.
Yeah, my deciding factor was we had, McClanahan had more strikeouts, but he also had more hits.
Yeah.
And like you said, not that those hits really amounted to anything, but we hadn't given it to Kluber yet, so I was like, well, more hits, I'm just going to give it to Kluber. I was looking for basically anything to give it to Kluber at that point.
Yeah. No, it's a toss up, but yeah, it's cool to give it to Kluber for sure. And I know you mentioned Fireisen. I forgot to touch on that earlier, but it sucks that he's hurt. It seems like it's not that big of a deal because it could just be a workload management thing, but it is a similar problem to what he had last year, so it might not be that. Yeah, we just have to wait to see,
scary.
I guess. But yeah, I know Wander's on the IL now too. We forgot to mention that, but yeah. Wander should be back pretty soon, and probably around the same time as Lau, I think. And hopefully Fireisen is okay because he's had a pretty good season so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's still rocking that 0 ERA. When I know that ERA is not everything, but that 0 ERA looks so pretty.
Yeah, he's had good results, so we'll take it.
Yeah, and you know what's better than good results, though?
What?
Going to shop.rblrsports.com and getting some of the most badass Rays-inspired, Bucks-inspired, Rowdies, Lightning. We even got some Bandit stuff in there, baby. So anything you could think of as far as Tampa Bay-inspired teams, we've got some of the most amazing shirts you could possibly think of. And we just released these really cool Devil Rays inspired shirts that are, you could pick purple, yellow, black. I don't know why I was thinking red, but you know what? If you want it, maybe we'll make it. And I do think that for you guys being such good fans and being here with us every week, we're going to give out a discount code, and I'm going to send that over to Mr. Whitelaw to get that going for you.
Yeah, so you can go to shop.rblrsports.com, use promo code FLAPPY, FLAPPY. You get 10% off your order, and those Devil shirts are pretty cool, so definitely go check those out.
Now, Now that we got that out of the way, we do this new thing. We started it last week where each of Mr. Whitelaw and myself, we come with a topic that we're gonna discuss. I'm gonna send it over to you first this week and kind of go over what you want to discuss Rays wise.
Yeah, so there's just been a lot of, with the offense struggling, there's been a lot of talk. Well, not really talk, I guess, just tweets and comments and stuff about, that the team should be calling up all these young guys to play, and they're going to produce. Aranda's ready. All these Mead, Proctor, Josh Lowe, just all these guys, but really, like, they're not ready yet. It takes a really long time for young players to start playing good. This is a team that won 96 games in 2019, and they're coming off 2 consecutive years of having the best record in the American League. There's really no reason to kind of rip apart the core right now when they've averaged like a winning percentage close to like 620 or 630 over the past 3 years. Like this is sustained success, and to call up young players, it's great. Like some of them are getting close to ready, but Jonathan Aranda has barely played 50 games at the AAA level. Like that's not enough to be able to make a judgment call on someone.
Exactly.
Vidal Brujan, Taylor Walls, Wander Franco, Isaac Paredes, Josh Lowe, Tommy Romero, Ford Proctor, Curtis Mead, Calvin Fauché, Phoenix Sanders, Xavier Edwards. Like all these guys are good and they're going to be good someday, but that doesn't mean they're going to be good major leaguers right now if they come into the league right away in a struggling offense. Like that's not a good environment for them to develop. So there's just a lot of interesting talk about that when it's not something historically that has ever worked for any team, pretty much in any sport. Like young players are not that good usually in any sports league. So, anyways, but Randy had the most F-WAR out of all the rookies last year at a 3.9 F-WAR, which is pretty good. But there are currently 51 players this season, qualified players, that are on pace to surpass that this season. So, like, he was the best rookie last year, and there were, like, 70 players better than him, and now there are, like, 51 players that are currently on pace to be better than him. So, rookies just typically aren't that good. There were 42 qualified rookies that had 1 F-WAR or fewer last year. And then 13 of those had a negative F-WAR, and overall rookies batted with an 83 WRC plus last season. So like, they're just not that good.
Yeah, like, no, exactly. And you got to think when you've got rookies coming in, it's like these people are like, oh, well, our offense is slow. They got to bring up. I've seen Aranda a lot, and it's like, we've got to bring him up. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. And it's like, realistically, what are they going to do? Have 1 or 2 good games and they're going to get figured out? As crappy as that sounds, it's like they're not going to help us right now.
Yeah, they need more time to develop. And like look at the offense right now with it struggling. Like there are so many young players that are playing right now and inexperienced guys. Even Randy is still like relatively inexperienced. Like he's a bit of a late bloomer, but like Mejia is still really young. I've already mentioned Brujan, Walls, Paredes. Yeah. A lot of young pitchers still. Like even McClanahan, he'll do like at like once or twice a game, he'll throw like 93 down the middle for like no reason, and it gets just hammered. And it's, I don't know, like everybody's still going to make mistakes, especially when they're young players. So they got to wait. Aranda will probably be up this season, I think maybe in September, but a lot of them just aren't ready yet. And that's how rookies work. That's just the nature of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I don't think that calling up rookies is the answer to our offensive issues. I think getting Brandon Lau back is the answer to our offensive issues, and I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, maybe Aranda can like donate an oblique muscle or something to somebody. That would probably be his best contribution, if that's possible.
I mean, it's got to be worth something.
Yeah. Oh, and also one more thing about rookies this year. There are 47 rookies this season with at least 50 plate appearances, and 21 of those, so almost half of them, have an F-WAR below, at or below 0.1. So like 21 of the rookies are not good at all. There are only a handful that have like an F-WAR above 1, and then 28 of the 47 rookies, so over half of them, have a WRC plus below 100. And it would have been 29 if Jake Berger didn't hit that home run yesterday, because he's in that conversation. So it was like really close to being 29. Rookies are just not that good.
Yeah, and it's just wild to me that people actually think that they're going to come out. Like Wander last year had an amazing rookie debut and a whole amazing rookie season. But when's the last time that you can honestly say, aside from him, that you remember seeing a rookie, doesn't even have to be a Rays rookie, that just comes out and dominates all season?
Yeah, exactly. Like even Mike Trout, he had like an 85 weighted runs created plus in his rookie season. Like Vladimir Guerrero, he struck out like 7,000 times in his rookie year. Like they're going to be growing pains. So
exactly,
if they can just do those in AAA and in spring training instead of during, regular season games that matter, that would be great. So yeah, but they'll be up soon. It's just we just have to hurry up and wait for them to get ready.
Yeah, when the time is right, the time is right. That's how I look at it. Like you can't rush a good thing. If you want the best results, you got to be patient and just wait.
Yeah, like you're not going to take a cake out of the oven 20 minutes before it's done cooking and then try to eat it and then complain that it doesn't taste good. Like that's not don't do that.
Exactly. Come on. And y'all see Ben on Twitter. Y'all see him on Twitter. He cooks like a madman. He does his thing.
I do cook a lot. Yeah.
If he's telling you not to pull a cake out, don't pull the cake out. All right. It's that simple. So I'll jump into my topic then. Again, it's another kind of short one. But I was looking at some stats, and I know that we've been hearing some people say, the juiced balls are back. As far as like home runs and all that, I don't think that that's accurate. And some of the stats that I was looking at, we are under one home run a game averaged between, I think it was like last year was 1.46 per game, and this year it's like 0.89. I don't know if those numbers are exactly correct. I lost the page that I was looking at. Maybe I was looking at it in a dream, but still, the teams that I looked at this year, so out of all 30 teams, there are no more than 7 teams that are averaging better home run numbers than they did last year. And I know, obviously, I know that it's just a short sample size, so it could go up, it could change. But I am here to say, as weird as it sounds, I do not think juiced balls are back.
Yeah, I think they might have done something to the balls in mid-May. Like some of the data I was looking at shows that something happened to the home run to fly ball rate, but it's still, like you said, like it's not what it was last year. Like last year was pretty insane. So
yeah, exactly.
The ball is still pretty dead.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm thinking. And again, those numbers might be off. I do not come on here claiming to be an expert on numbers. That has been. But I did see something around that is like the home run rate is down. It's still up, but it's down significantly from last year anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely returning to like 2017, 2018 type levels.
Exactly.
But last year was pretty crazy. I did look at like the month-to-month home run to fly ball rates a little bit. So in May of 2021, so May last year, the home run to fly ball rate was 13.1%. And then in June, it jumped up to 14.5% last year. So that's probably just because of like, warmer weather type stuff. It goes up like 1%, which makes sense. This season, the home run to fly ball rate in May was 11.5%. So about 2% lower than last year. And then in June, so far, the home run to fly ball rate has been 12.4%. So again, we're seeing an increase going into June, but it's still down about 2% from last year. So the ball is definitely more dead, but there is a Twitter account called Ballpark Pal. They like measure park factors and home run stuff and all that, whatever. Lots of different numbers. It's a pretty cool account. They have like almost 20,000 followers, but the 7-day rolling average on expected home run rates, like almost doubled in like May 16th or May 17th, like somewhere around there. And it's been kind of climbing towards 2021 levels. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. They have been absolutely tinkering with the ball all season long, whether they admit it or not.
Yeah.
But something has happened and is continuing to happen, and I just wish they would just pick a ball and
And just
stop.
stick with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's not that hard to do. And I did find the number on Baseball Reference real quick. It was this year they're at 1.02. Last year they were at 1.22 home runs a game. So not like super drastic, but again, it's definitely a noticeable difference. And
Yeah.
I could not agree with you more. I think just pick a ball, leave it alone, and go with it. Like why do we have to change stuff up so much? The game is a game. Like let our players decide what happens, not the fact that you did something to a baseball.
Yeah, if we could just like, stop in the middle and do like 1.1 home runs a game, like we don't have to do 1.22. That seems like it might be a lot. I don't know.
Exactly.
Just pick one, leave it alone.
Thank you. I could not agree with you more. And that's my little gripe / something that I found interesting this week in baseball as a whole, and not just Rays baseball.
No, it's a good topic. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes the rest of June and then heading into July as we continue to get like, warmer baseball weather.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all that I have on that. And now I know we've got some stuff coming up. Do you want to go over some of the injuries we've got this week coming up, or right now?
Yeah.
Anyway?
Basically, I'll just talk about the more important ones. Brandon Lau is still kind of shut down. He'll be starting workouts again soon, I believe. Wander Franco, he's just sitting around kind of waiting to heal. But some good news is Shane Baz and Andrew Kittredge could return as early as this week. Shane Baz, I think he's doing maybe his final rehab start today or tomorrow. Actually, I don't think the Bulls play tomorrow. So it's either going to be today or Tuesday, and then maybe he'll be activated like later on this week. Kittredge, he had a rehab outing where he looked fine. He looked back to normal, basically. I think his stuff is fine. His movement looks back. So he should be back early this week, which will be nice. I think that's Feyereisen. He's going to be out for a little bit. Yeah, we just have to wait for a diagnosis, I guess. But it's hard to say. This one looks like it could go either way.
Yeah, completely. And now I got a question for you on Baz. Do you think he comes in when he comes in? Do you think he takes Spring's spot, or is Spring showing enough that he deserves to be that starter still?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I think maybe they might go with like a 6-man rotation just to continue managing the workloads and give guys extra rest. That might be kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. That's why I kind of asked you. I'm having a hard time on it because, I mean, just Spring's last start, he threw 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 7 Ks. Like, he basically battled with Gray that game, and I think that he's done. I feel like every week that we see him pitch, it's like he's getting better or staying on that same level. Like, I haven't seen him regress.
Yeah, he's looked really good as a starter. So
yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I'm at. So like, I don't want to just say nope, Baz doesn't get a spot or Baz doesn't get a spot, but it's like, to me, it's either going to be Baz or Springs. When I wouldn't take Springs out personally.
Yeah, maybe they'll do like remember earlier in the season, Yarbrough was still getting stretched out a bit, and I think it was maybe 2 times they did like a tandem start with him and Beeks. Like Beeks went like 2 or 3 innings apiece for each of them. So maybe that's what they'll do with Springs and Baz to continue like managing the innings for both of them, because they're probably both going to hit like a career high in innings pitched this season.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, Kluber and Yarbrough are the only ones that won't have such a hard innings limit. I know McClanahan might. I don't know how much they'll let him go, but they need him healthy for October. So
yeah.
I think we might see some like phantom IL stints for some of these guys in the future where they just miss like a start. I think Fleming might be back up again soon to kind of help manage that workload. He struck out 10 guys in 6 innings, 6 shutout innings with Durham yesterday. So he's kind of looking better.
So
his pitch mix is better. Yeah, so I think we're going to see a more revolving door like we did last year with the pitching staff.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. I think that McClanahan, and I'll even throw Rasmussen in there as like our two most important pitchers, especially come October. So I think that Boz might get some time, like you said, he hurt his middle finger, he's going to be out for the start. Like just something that's not real, but real if you ask MLB. So
yeah,
that could be, I could see what you're saying. Give them some rest, let them have some time off, and be able to be healthy for October. So I'm all for it when you put it like that, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think we might see like Drew Rasmussen to the 10-day IL with like right glute soreness or something like that. Just a random thing. I don't know. We've got a lot of pitchers though, so it should be fine. I really like Calvin Fauché recently. I like his curveball. That's kind of cool. He can kind of pitch in long relief. I don't know, but there are a lot of guys that can eat up innings, so should be interesting.
Yeah, I think I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think we have one of the best pitching staffs as a whole in the MLB. So I'm not stressing whatever they decide to do. As much as it might hurt to see somebody not have as much starting time, I'm all for it. I trust them at this point.
Yeah, me too. But I think that's about it for this week. Is there anything else you wanted to throw in here?
Yeah, that's everything I got baseball wise. But I will say, to all you fans listening, if you could do something, do us one favor. This one is completely free. Just go on to wherever you're listening to this podcast at, wherever you're hearing it. Give us a like and a follow. It means a lot to us, and it helps us keep those numbers up. Plus, if you go onto social media, any social media, we got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got Twitter. All those are at RBLR Sports. If you could just go give us a like and a follow on those, it would be greatly appreciated. It would help us out a ton. So aside from that, that's all I've got, and I would like to send it over to Ben for kind of the last hurrah. Go Rays.
Yeah, go Rays. Florida Complex League roster should come out today. That should be interesting. We might see Brendan McKay's name on there. But yeah, that's it. Go Rays.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.